All right, today we are diving deep into a discovery, and I mean deep, that could completely flip everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt on its head. And check this out. This quote is from one of the lead researchers, and it says it all. It essentially rewrites all of human history. Whoa. We're not just talking about pyramids here, folks. We're talking about our entire past. So let's set the scene. The year is 2019. You've got this research team, led by a brilliant telecom engineer, someone who's worked with top secret military radar. They take this one-of-a-kind satellite tech, and they point it at the Giza plateau. And what they found? Well, it was so wild, so unbelievable, that the lead engineer himself thought, nope, this has got to be a mistake, the machine's broken. But it wasn't a mistake. What they found was just staggering. We're not talking about a few weird rocks or anomalies. The scans showed these immense, perfectly uniform columns, each one 20 meters across, laid out in a deliberate pattern, deep, deep under the ground. I mean, the first thought you have is, no way nature made that. This has to be man-made. Okay, so right about now, you're probably thinking what I was thinking. How on earth is that even possible? How can a satellite orbiting hundreds of kilometers up in space see through solid rock and sand? Well, the answer is the super specialized technology, stuff that was originally built for purposes they can't actually talk about. Yeah, that kind of tech. The official name for it is radiotomography. But forget the fancy term for a sec. Just think of it like this. This satellite isn't taking a photo. It's more like it's listening, feeling for tiny vibrations to build a full 3D map of whatever's buried down there. So you're wondering how it actually works, right? Here's the breakdown. The satellite, way up in orbit, beams radar waves down to Earth. When those waves hit something solid underground, like a giant column, they cause these unbelievably tiny vibrations on the surface. They call them evanescent waves. Now, the satellite is so sensitive, it can actually pick up on these microscopic movements. It then decodes them, kind of like how the Doppler effect works. You know how an ambulance siren changes pitch as it comes towards you and then goes away? It's that same principle, but for reading what's hidden deep underground. It's pretty amazing. Okay, but if you're gonna make a claim this huge, that you found a massive unknown structure under Giza, you better have some serious proof. The team knew this. They knew their tech had to be absolutely ironclad. So before they went public with their new discovery, they had to prove it could see the old stuff perfectly. So what's the first test? The big one. They pointed their satellite at the Great Pyramid of Khufu. They knew what was inside, right? The Grand Gallery, the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and guess what? The scan came back with a perfect map. Every chamber, every passageway matched exactly in size and location. Boom, the system worked. It was for real. And they didn't just do it once. This wasn't some lucky fluke. To be absolutely sure, they just kept scanning over and over and over again. We're talking more than 200 separate scans of the Giza Plateau. And every single time, the same result. Those underground structures showed up, clear as day, on every single scan. But they didn't stop there. They wanted to be extra sure. So they didn't just use their one Italian satellite system. They had another team using a completely different American satellite system from a company called Capella Space run the same scans. And what did they find? The exact same thing. Identical results. This wasn't a glitch, people. This was real. And then came the mic drop, the final undeniable proof. The team took their tech and pointed it at a mountain in Italy, Gran Sasso. Now why there? Because hidden deep inside that mountain, 1.4 kilometers down, is a particle collider. And the satellite, it mapped it perfectly. Let that sink in. If this thing can see a lab through a literal mountain, you better believe it can see what's under a bit of sand in Giza. So you've got all this evidence, right? It's compelling, it's cross-verified, it's pretty much undeniable. You'd think this would be front-page news everywhere, the biggest archaeological story of the century, but it wasn't. Instead of celebration, what they got was pushback, serious resistance from the academic world. Which just leads to the big question, right? Why? Why all the resistance? I mean, the data is solid, it's been checked and double-checked. What's the problem? Well, according to the people on the inside, it's a few things. First, you've got what they call the gatekeepers of archaeological information, people who are just resistant to anything that rocks the boat. Then there's good old confirmation bias. You know, experts who've built their careers on one idea, and they don't want to see evidence that contradicts it. But maybe the biggest reason? The discovery is just too big. It's too world-changing. This isn't just adding a little detail to the history books. This forces us to rip out the whole chapter on ancient Egypt and ask, what if we got it all wrong? And that's because this isn't just about finding some new buried ruins. Oh no. What this discovery really does is pour gasoline on a debate that's been smoldering for decades. What were the pyramids really for?
And get this is a direct quote from the research team. After looking at all this new data, they said, "Today we are sure of one thing, the pyramids are not tombs." That's a huge statement. The one thing we all knew about the pyramids, that they were tombs for the pharaohs, they're saying, based on this evidence, that theory just doesn't work anymore.
And here's where it gets really interesting. These newfound underground structures, they fit perfectly with some of the more out there theories, like the one from an engineer named Christopher Dunn. For years, he's been saying the pyramids weren't tombs at all. They were incredibly precise machines, maybe some kind of ancient power plant designed to tap into the Earth's own energy. And if you're going to build something like that, well, a massive, complex foundation deep underground is exactly what you would need. So, where does that leave all of us? We have solid, verified data that shows a huge unknown complex buried under Giza. We know the technology that found it is pinpoint accurate, and all of it points to a conclusion that could completely shake the foundations of ancient history. So I'll leave you with this. If the pyramids were not tombs, then what in the world were they?